Just to go over what we're doing in class, we're going to look at roughs for the Adobe Max poster or rough. We're going to talk about that. And let me let Noah in. Go over that assignment. Then if we have time, we're going to go through chapter 6 on the grids, on the grid chapter. Belinda, why don't you take over the screen and show your Adobe Max poster rough.
Okay.
I might have to zoom out a little bit.
I never had to do that.
Let's see.
Not working for me.
Up into view on the top left, under view, should be one page or something like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, tell us about it.
Well, this one's the watermark that we had talked about.
Okay.
And I'm still working on it, trying to figure out the placements and everything. I think it's too centered right now. Like
Too what? Too what?
Centered.
Too centered, right. Yeah.
The top is really too centered. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
The bottom list of, you know, all the people, that's looking good. And I'd say the featured headliners, how you have that gutter in the middle with the alignment changing on either side is looking nice. So the bottom half, and I think the watermark is looking good. Yeah, the top half is just too centered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone? Oh, let's see the other one.
I have one more. And I have this one.
What do you think about that one?
I kind of like this one better. I don't know if I like the color or not. I'm just throwing something on there because white was looking too boring just being white.
Right.
I do like the names going down the side of it.
Yeah, that's looking real good. I like the names. I think that the names of the small names down the side of the right's working, and the featured headliner is working good. The very bottom bit of information is again too centered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then top. What do you think about that? We're going to talk about that. What do you think about that Max logo?
I like their Max logo.
It's pretty interesting.
It is.
Since you have that in there, you might want to play around with Adobe on top, the Creative Conference, the date, the maxadobe.com, that type of stuff. Figure out something better to do with that.
Yeah.
So you think with this one or the other one for your final?
I'm liking this one more right now.
Okay. Okay. That is looking pretty good. As you get more refined, think about your alignments some. Like I like the column on the right with the date on top.
Mm-hmm.
Should that be even higher? Should October be on alignment with Adobe, or should Adobe by itself? Should that Adobe come all the way across the poster, maybe?
Okay.
So think about those things.
Okay.
Class, leave this up for a second. Class, any thoughts on this poster? Any way she can, this is a rough, obviously things she can do between here and the final to improve it?
You have October 20th to 22nd, 2020 on the poster twice, and you don't have the 400 plus luminaries line anywhere.
Okay. There we go.
So I would get rid of the October on the right side of the thing, leave the one that's in the center, and put the 400 luminaries with the list of names on the right.
There we go.
And maybe a little bit smaller text or something like that so it fits.
Okay.
Definitely center the Adobe. It looks like it should be centered over the triangle, essentially. So I'd probably, if you used an Illustrator or or in InDesign, definitely like select the Adobe, the logo, Creative Conference, the date, Max Adobe, like how you have them centered there, have them all. You can use the center function that just kind of keeps them all centered based on all the selections. That'll make it look nicer.
Yep. Or even spread Adobe out so it goes all the way across the top. Kern it so you have a lot of space between each letter of Adobe. That might look bad, but it's a thought too.
Could look good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Thanks, Nick. Good thing to catch the dates in there twice. Okay.
No.
Is that Noah? You got a thought?
Well, I don't know. I almost feel like there's too much emphasis on like the website. But that just might be me. Because it's like, well, there's the website, but it's like who's really there, and I feel like I have to look kind of hard to see who's there. There's nothing like yeah, I thought that there might be a little bit too much emphasis on the website when yeah.
Okay. That's a thought that is pretty large. That's even larger than the Creativity Conference. So maybe that is too big, although that is where you sign up, I'm sure. I was looking at that the other day. It's pretty much where you sign up for the conference. Remember your widows and orphans. So sponsors giveaway, you have the long line register now to build your own schedule and get. You could split that up on 2 lines and have it be more equal.
Okay.
And then at the bottom, at the very bottom, you have something right in the middle. What is that? All registered. You have two sort of, you write down there 2 standalone sentences. Maybe they can go in 1 line.
Okay.
Those look like orphans or widows. Okay.
What do I have? Oh, there.
Okay, looking good. Let's see, Belinda, you unshare. Daniel, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. All right. So this is the design I decided to go with out of my thumbnails.
Okay.
And I think I enjoyed making this with the grid. It kind of helps you organize it in the end.
Oh yeah, the grid helps.
Mhm.
Okay.
Especially with like lining up these 3 columns down here with the 400 plus people. That's what I was worried about at first because I saw that it was like so many people to put on a poster.
Right. So do you have, it looks like you intentionally have the, like where you're showing right now, the big 3 columns at the bottom, they are not equal. You have that on purpose? That's on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay, which is good. Okay. Okay. I have to say, I like the repeat of the Max, the Adobe Max thing. That's a great idea.
What I wanted to do originally with the Max, but I couldn't figure out how to do it on my own.
Yeah.
I've seen I'm not sure what it's called exactly, but it's where all of the all 3 of these will be
Yeah.
outlined. Like it won't have the fill inside. It's more of like the letters were just strokes.
Okay. Is this an Illustrator?
No, this is an InDesign.
InDesign. Oh, okay. I'd have to go look. I have how to do it memorized in Illustrator, but I'd have to go look. You should be able to go to the type section of InDesign and select. Don't try to do it now. Let's look at your poster, but and
Yeah.
select outline versus fill. Yeah, I'd have to cast around in InDesign to find exactly where to put that. Before you do that, though, here, go back all the way out so we can see the poster. So I like the Max repeating. And so I almost want to repeat it a couple more times. I mean, I like the negative space below October 2020, but you could have it
Yeah.
repeat 2 more times.
I
And
thought about that as well because there is a good bit of negative space in it.
yeah, and you could take and maybe instead of doing the outline, have it, because you have a gray there, you could have the max fade one way or the other. Fade to gray, fade to white, fade to something like that.
Yeah, that would look really nice.
So play around with that. That's a good idea. Also, since that is part of the key of the thing, so you have Adobe, the A and the E in Adobe, a certain width. It might be interesting to have max be the same width.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that looks good. Okay. Looking on down farther. So then down where you have register now to build your schedule, that, and then you have the website and join. That's very close to the left edge. Might move that, center that in that column.
Okay.
Okay. Just because it looks like it's a little bit far to the left.
Yeah.
But you might play around. Maybe that would look better instead of being centered, either left or right aligned.
Okay.
Altogether looks good. Features headliner looks good. You might play around with in the featured headliners. You have that second column is a lot longer than the first column. Maybe put Zach Braniff on the bottom of the first column and move that second column up, just because you have a lot of, looks like, I don't know, that's bugging me a little bit. Or move Zach up. I'm thinking about that. Okay.
Okay.
So all together now, all around the world, I like, and the featured headliners, the luminaries look good. That make plans to join us at no cost. I sort of feel like that's almost too important and could be smaller, that paragraph.
Oh yeah, that paragraph.
Yeah, and then that would give your all together now featured headliners and luminaries a little bit more oomph.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Great. Any other thoughts? So Nick and Noah talked about this one. Belinda, any thoughts? Or last one, Belinda, any thoughts that he could do to change this between this and the final?
No, I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with everything you were talking about.
Okay. It's good. Anyone else? Ariana, any thoughts?
No, I kind of agree with what you had said with all the changes he would make and improvements.
Okay. The only other thought I had, Daniel, is I really like the not equal columns at the bottom. And there's that one long one, Anna Marie something, a long name, and I guess they are in alphabetical order. Be interesting to move that over to the wide column and make that first column even thinner. So you have a thin column, a medium column, and a thick column going across, but that would violate the alphabetical order thing.
I would say, I was like, if it wasn't in alphabetical order, I would definitely do that.
Trying to think. So that is a design problem that you run into. So you have some choices. You could put her last name on another line, slightly indent it. That might look horrible. And this is my problem. I have this all the time because my horrible long last name. You could put her at the bottom. That violates your alphabetical order. She could be a smaller type font. Of course, that could look horrible too. Play around with that and see what you can do. If it looks bad, don't do it, but
I'll
just a
definitely
thought.
experiment with it.
You could put no spaces between maybe her first, last, and middle name. Make it all, even though that, because it's so long, because of the caps, people would automatically be able to see her first, middle, and last name. I hate to take out her middle name. Could take out her middle name. Since you don't have to call her and ask for permission, you could take out her middle name. if you were doing this for real, she'd probably complain.
Yeah, that'd be like, it's like, why can't I have my middle name?
Why can't I have my middle name? Play around with that and see, because that would make it even more interesting, and then make that column thinner. Okay. Unshare your rough. Let's see who's next. Noah. Noah?
Oh, okay. Let me ran. Let's see. Can you see all of it?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Tell us about it. Tell us what you're thinking.
I like it for the most part. I took a lot of aspects of different posters, or like the different rough drafts or ideations that I did for it, and I kind of mixed them all together. I like having it just have the red be like more of an accent, not like it just highlights certain aspects, but doesn't like impede on the white, gray, black, you know. Yeah, I'm open to any suggestions. There's some things I noticed, like small things, like, oh, I need to space this out a little bit more already when I was looking at it, but
Right.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why you do rough, so you can see the little things that are working and not working.
Yeah.
Minor little things. So, for example, I like how you have the creativity conference fitting into the stroke of the M in Max. Great.
Mhm.
But then when you come down, the altogether now and that paragraph are a little bit far to the left.
Mhm.
To line those in. Also, that paragraph you said, make plans to join us for uniquely immersive. I'd move immersive up behind uniquely and not have that unless you did that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, move that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it should be just 3 lines instead of 4, which I think is great. Then it won't be. Then you won't have a line sitting on right top of the gray M bottom stroke.
Mhm.
Let's see. I like a lot how your featured headliners column on the left is missing the top of the gray Max in the background. That little bit of white space, that's working great. Trying to think of anything else. You know what? I feel like you always want to make sure, one of the things as you look at any design, you want to make sure if things are touching, that it's working for you. And so, for example, having the overlap of the creativity conference in the stroke of the M is working, but where you have 400 experts and luminaries, see how the 400 is hitting right the corner of that Max? At right the bottom of the A?
Mhm.
Maybe slide that up a little bit so that first line of 400 is in the white instead of hitting the letter of A or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just play around with that. That could even, come up a little bit. Class, what else do we want to help him with? Any suggestions?
I think there's an option in InDesign to get rid of hyphenates, right?
Yep.
And you probably want to use that in that top paragraph.
You're right, session. You don't want to have session be hyphenated. That
And
might
speakers.
speakers. Okay. Yep.
Oh yeah, sessions. I didn't even see that.
Yep. And when you move the first line of that paragraph up, then that might change. But definitely take off the hyphening. Yep.
Mhm.
Anything else, Nick? That's you see.
I'm not sure if it would work, but something you could play around with the watermark of Adobe Max. You could maybe capitalize all of Adobe. I'm not sure how that would look.
Could try it and see.
And then I don't know why, but it's something that's been bothering me. With the register now section of your poster, it just seems like the website is just like too small.
Mhm.
and it's almost kind of empty there.
You could almost make that red.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good thoughts there. So you have just looking at the watermark, so the Adobe Max is at the very top of the page, but it's not at the very bottom. The text is going to the bottom.
Hmm.
Almost want to have the Adobe Max part be definitely all the way at the bottom and all the way at the top.
Okay. Yeah.
You could just, kern those a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay. So I have a question for the whole class. And this is
Should I
obviously
unshare or?
no, keep on your poster.
Okay.
And boy, my phone always rings when I'm in class. So in general, and Noah, you can answer first. You don't, when you're doing the letters sideways like this, you do it the other way. So you turn your head to the left. So Max, the M would be at the bottom, the A of W would be at the bottom. However, you've chosen to turn it the other way. I think it's working like this. It is breaking a general type rule. So Noah, you think it's working better like this than if you turned both the Max and the Adobe upside down?
Well, the thing is, I didn't like having to look bottom to top.
Right.
So I wanted to go from top bottom.
Okay.
And the only way to do that was to adjust that rule.
Okay. And that's true, because then you'd have the top of the poster, but you'd have the words that are at the beginning would be at the bottom. Class, what do you guys think about that decision? Good, bad, agree, disagree?
I think it was a good decision.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that it's a pretty reasonable way to overrule that rule.
I mean, it's definitely a good reason. And that's one of the things that is very important as you make decisions, to think about them. It's okay to change your mind too, because when someone asks you, so your client says, why'd you do this? You have a reason. I did this because of blank. The only thing that someone might argue with you is then because we're in a left to right society for reading, then someone might go, say it's Max Adobe instead of Adobe Max. However, this is such a no one's going to say Max Adobe. Everyone's going to say Adobe Max. So I think for me, that's the only thing. If the Adobe might get, if they have a brand guide where the Adobe always has to be in the front, they might argue with you. But anyway, you have a good reason, so I would stick with it. Okay, that was Noah, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, unshare yours. Nick, you want to go next?
Really. Oops, wrong one. Moved on me. Sec here. There we go.
All right, tell us your thoughts.
I took the Max logo to use it as the background and kind of like a place for the text, except for the luminaries. I needed it to fit outside, but still within the borders. I did break the alphabetical rule because I wanted the names to fit the tapering of the A of the triangle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Great. Zoom in on where it says featured headliners, just so I want to see how that looks a little closer. So basically, then it's all right justified. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, zoom back out. Sorry, I just couldn't quite see that in the
Sure.
class. Class, any comments on things Nick should change?
I really like the whole poster. I love the use of the Adobe Max design. I like the lettering for Max. I love that, and the whole use of the color spectrum is very Adobe for me.
Yeah, I took that as inspiration from one of their posters.
Yeah, every Adobe commercial I ever see, they love using all the colors, and I love that a lot of the headliners and other parts are the main. I can't seem to get the right word for it, but they follow the path of the triangles.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, the use of the Adobe Max logo as the grid is working pretty good. Any other thoughts? I have a few thoughts. So since going along with that comment, how you've got you're definitely using your grid well. You could even use it more in where you have all together now around the world. And you have that paragraph, make plans to join us. I really want to have that bottom line be wider. Somehow put less on the top and have it be more triangular.
Okay.
Just since you're going with the triangle, I just, play around with that so that because it looks like make no plans for uniquely immersive fits exactly into the triangle, and then it curves back down to the bottom going narrow. I would make the first sentence narrower so it is like a triangle, even if it is slightly a little bit thinner on the top. Featured headlines look good. Same thing for where we have the website. So again, it's a triangle, but you have the longest line where you have register now. That's the longest and join free. I sort of want to maybe put register now on 2 lines so it's shorter, looking like a triangle, going with the triangle thing. See what I mean? Like cut it, make it at schedule, or cut it at build your and cut between schedule and move that to a second line. Then you have 2 lines they'll be less width than adobe.com. Okay. So just a thought, play around with that. If it looks bad, don't do it. But since you're going with that aesthetic, going along, putting your text in to the shape, I sort of feel like take it all the way and have the words go along with the shape.
Okay.
Zoom back out. The only thing, so you have these great shapes. You have the M, the A, the X. And in the featured headliners, the way that, and I love how you have it right justified, all the names, but it does create that bizarre shape on the left of the left side of everyone's name. It almost looks like a gun.
Huh.
That thing?
Okay.
So I almost want to change the spacing in that somehow. And it's not kerning, but you could either add, you could add some tracking, something to just not have it be so, that's a distracting shape. Just break it up a little bit.
I mean, I would have had it all completely like tapering, but I wanted to make sure I had the president and the chief all the way at the top, like the 2 Adobe individuals all the way at the top.
I think that's okay. I think it's okay to have it not be. It's just where see where it goes from Chelsea Handler all the way down to
that
Nick.
curve.
Oh, that curve. Just break that up. So stick Gwyneth Paltrow's name out a little bit farther, or just to break up that curve a little bit. And back where it says Annie Leibovitz down to Talca, Tiki, whatever. I don't know that name. Have one of those stick out a little farther somehow, either by adding a space between the title, maybe between director and actor. I don't know, just something so that it doesn't, the shape, you think you're creating a shape when it's just accidental. So maybe try to make that. And it's a little distracting. That's a minor thing. It's minor. Okay. Did you try having the illuminaries instead of in black be in white text?
No,
The whole list of
that.
Okay. I like that the max is in white, and if you have the luminaries' names in white, maybe that will take away from that, is my thought. So I like it in black, but just as a thought. Okay. Great. Anyone have any other thoughts for Nick? If you go to the Adobe website, go ahead, Daniel.
Just one thing for the bottom triangle. If you could zoom in a little bit. Maybe just an idea. What you could do is make it also fall down in the shape of that triangle. So the register now, that would be smaller. And then the max, maybe stretch out the max Adobe, so kern it a little bit, and then the last line being the longest, that would fall down into the shape of the triangle.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Yeah, if you guys went to the Adobe Max, the real website, they get pretty funky on some of their. They let people do whatever to this logo, which I thought was nice because sometimes, I mean, there was one guy that had just went, I mean, crazily with moving shapes and all kinds of stuff on it. Okay, let's see. Nick, unshare yours. Let's see.
I also wanted to mention that I loved how he had the and many more, all like that larger, to emphasize like, oh yeah, there's more. It's not just like some small footnote.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Who has not gone? Ariana?
I'm here. Yes.
Yeah. Great. You go ahead and show your rough.
See, hold on. Can you see that?
Yes. Yep. Okay. Tell us about it.
So far I think I just like how I use geometric shapes because they use geometric shapes on their original kinds of titles. And then one thing that I am wanting to do is maybe expand this here, the creative conference, so that there's not all this empty space down here, and also just color the poster so it is not too bland.
Okay. Yeah, you could do some color.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that it's pretty much 3 columns. You got a 3-column design. You break the columns at the bottom, but it's mostly a 3-column design, which is working. Since you've got that Adobe, you've got the Max logo in there. See, I would expand Adobe out so that the A and the E in Adobe are flush with the logo. Have that be bigger. And same thing, like you said, you're going to make Creativity Conference bigger. You could make that bigger. See how that's flush to the edge, or make sure that's flush all the way to the edge of that X.
Okay.
So being bigger would be good. Like the addition of the diamonds up there in the top. Because that sort of echoes the logo.
Yeah, I just thought they would add an extra design to the poster.
Yep. I'm trying to decide. So I like the additions of the diamonds at the top, but I think that having them both at the top is a little distracting from the Adobe Max thing. And so you have on the that column on the right with all the 400 plus luminaries. What if you move the 400 plus luminaries all the way to the top and had the diamond be at the bottom of that column?
I can do that.
Just as a thought. If it looks bad, don't do it. But that's a thought.
Yeah.
Just to spread things out a little bit so that those are not just stuck at the top. Because then you'd have stuff sort of all the way around. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Keep sharing. What class, what other comments, what other thoughts for Ariana to improve from the rough to the final?
Maybe some color.
Any thoughts on what color you might add and where? Ariana?
I was thinking around like maybe purples and blues.
Okay. In the background?
In the background, yeah.
Okay.
And then just have the Max logo right here be all white.
Okay.
And then for the diamonds, I'm not too sure because I know if I make them white, they would be too distracting, like you said, since how they are right now. So I'm not too sure what colors what what colors I would make them.
Okay. You know, if you pick a color and have the value, let's say blue, and have it be over 50% value, a dark blue, then you could have the max be in white, and you could have all the text be in white also, if you pick darker value colors. Like if you do blue and purple, try all the text being in white.
Okay.
Okay, other thoughts?
Probably
Help.
recommend diamonds being like an orange or a yellow, help complement the background. I also want to point out I'd probably mess around with like italicizing, bolding, or changing the sizes on titles, like the 400 expert and luminaries, the featured headliners. Keep them a little bigger than the text you're using for the names. I see you did it on the right. I'd probably do the same on the left as well. And same thing for like certain emphasis of paragraph titles, like the All Together Now, All Around the World, or maybe emphasis on the website at the bottom as well.
Good thoughts. You definitely have plenty of room in that column for featured headliners to make that bigger. Okay.
Okay.
Any other thoughts from anyone? All good thoughts? Okay. So, Daniel, you showed yours, right?
Yeah, I did.
So everyone's gone? Anyone not show theirs? Okay. You can unshare yours, Ariana. Okay. Be back to, there we go. So on this project, everyone looks like those roughs look pretty good. I'm hoping you guys are seeing the benefit of doing the rough. You got the thumbnail to come up with a general idea, do a couple of them and narrow, or pick your final, and then by doing a rough, seeing the minor details that you need to change, and then going ahead and then doing the final. A lot of times, sometimes we call it a rough in school. What I end up doing a lot of times with clients is they don't know what in the world a rough is. And so I will say, hey, we're at a midpoint or we're at a draft. And I will actually get it even farther along to the final, but I don't say it's the final till I show it to the client and let them tell me all the things they want to change. And then we do the final. So a lot of times, even if you don't call it a rough out when you're working with clients, what you think is going to be the final usually is not. Usually you always have to make some changes after the client sees it. I wish that wasn't the case sometimes because I'm tired of it by then. And I want to be done. But in general, I have discovered that what you think is the final with the client usually is not. There always is one more meeting because they want to change something to it. Okay. I was thinking about, well, let me go over. So on this project, on this grid poster, so what we're doing is we're just trying to turn in the final this Sunday. I always say midnight, but it's 11:59. Turn those in. There should be a place to turn those in the content. I was thinking about going over chapter 6. We don't have a lot of time for that, so I might push that, and we might do that next Monday. So I'll add chapter 6. If you want to read chapter 6 beforehand, we'll do the vocabulary in chapter 6 for next week instead of trying to do that this week, since it's Wednesday instead of Monday. If that's okay. So also a couple of announcements. So everyone mark on their calendar November 20th, and that is way ahead, but it is a Friday, and there's going to be a guest speaker, and an instructor named Travis Phillips will be sending it out. Plus, I'll make a class announcement. It'll be Friday at 10 o'clock on November 20th. The graphic designer / marketing specialist for Bricks Pizza is going to talk and answer questions. And he is not right out of school, but I think this is his either second job after he graduated from college with graphic design degree. And so he has an interesting perspective from someone who's just been in the business, I'd say less than 5 years, or right around 5 years. So it'd be good to come to that if you can at 10 o'clock. It'll be a Teams call or a Zoom call. And he'll do a little presentation. You can ask him questions sort of as a young designer. So mark your calendars for that, November 20th. I'll send out the announcement on that. Okay, and I published put a video on there about divine proportion in the class. Content, be sure to watch that for next week also. And we'll be talking about that along with chapter 6. I know we went over that a little bit before, but I want to go over that in a little bit more detail. And the video is nice. It shows how to create the divine proportion grid in Illustrator. And so it's an interesting example there. Any questions on the Adobe poster assignment?
I wouldn't mind, maybe when people start leaving, if you kind of look at some of the adjustments I've made, and maybe
sure.
like help me like understand some of the recommendations.
Okay, I'd be glad to do that. Let's see. Everyone else can go off while we do that, or if other people have questions, we can do that. Any other questions?
No.
So the finals due this Sunday. There isn't any other deadlines because we sort of have a short week. And next Wednesday in class, we'll go over chapter 6, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about divine proportion and start our next project. One thing that's just to remind everyone, please be sure, and all your finals for all the projects that we have done in this class, be sure and save them, not just on your laptop or your desktop hard drive. Be sure and be using Google Drive. Create a folder for this class or whatever, or for your schoolwork. But I definitely have had some students in other classes where their hard drive has crashed and they've lost assignments. And that is bad, because then you have to redo them for the class, or you get a lower grade because you missed the deadline. But the worst thing is you've done a good project and you show up at portfolio and you don't have it. And so definitely be saving on your Google Drive or OneDrive. Do you guys have a OneDrive account with the school?
I've never heard of OneDrive.
Okay. Maybe that's just for faculty members, and it's also brand new. I have to say I have reservations about having a school drive, even though most likely you'll be in portfolio with this school. You'll be wanting to get to this work even after you're out of school, and you don't want to have your stuff saved like in a OneDrive that's associated with your school email and that you can't get to after you graduate. So definitely be saving stuff, files, and I'd be saving the Illustrator files, the InDesign files, and the PDFs and JPEGs, whatever you do, to a personal Google Drive that you've created, or Dropbox. Dropbox is fine. Carbonite's fine. Anything that is a web service that you can get your files, and it doesn't matter whatever, whether you're using a laptop or PC, that doesn't crash, or, heaven help you, you run over it with your car or something like that. So be sure and be doing that. Okay. Any other questions? What if anyone else would like me to look at theirs in more detail, they're rough, I'll be glad to do that. Noah's going to stay on there, but everyone else can head off and start working on your finals. And I will see you all next Monday.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Good night.
Goodbye.
Noah, you can stay on there. If you want to take over the screen, you can.
All right. I actually did in InDesign.
Great.
So I went ahead and did what you recommended with the 400 plus experts, and I lifted it up, and then I fixed the hyphenations in the all together now. Made sure that it also lined up more with, I could probably move it over just even a little bit more.
Teeniest little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And then I I did the recommendation about making the website larger.
Okay, great.
And of course, I could make this a little bit bigger. I could match it with this one. I felt like it might not look as good at this font size.
Yeah, I like it. The first font said you had the smaller.
Yeah.
Just one line. Perfect. Yeah.
And then I was a little bit confused on what you meant by like making the watermark larger, like to fill the whole page. Did you just want me to make it so that it extended past the text, or did you want it to fill the whole page?
So good question. So I was thinking that I didn't want the text to go past it, but having the E and the X to go past the bottom of the text is not looking good either. Can you move it up a little bit? So the very last, the corner of the X. Yeah, there we go. Move and then move the X up so it basically touches the bottom of your column there with your luminaries.
I had to have a different.
Sure. Oh yeah, there we go. What do you think about that? Is that better?
Yeah, I was just like,
yeah, there we go.
Bottom of the X, the bottom right arm or leg, right. I should say, it extends farther than the top right arm.
So good point. That's fine.
I just wasn't sure about that.
Sure. So go up to the very top. What if the date? So I like creativity conference where it is. Yeah, do it so it's lined all the way over to the right. Yes. How about that? Is that better?
You know what? That was actually something I was considering doing, but I wasn't too sure if people weren't going to mention it. But yeah, I think it looks good. It matches the that pattern that I have set up.
Because you got a couple things going on, which is great. You have some because of the Adobe Max, you have column focus, but then you break the column, but then some things don't. So it's a good combination of going with the columns and then breaking the columns.
All right. And would you recommend that I make it larger then if I'm?
Yeah, give it a shot. Stop it right when it hits the edge of there we go. Yeah.
Around there.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing it now, but like the letters there. Yeah, they're okay. Never mind. All right, and then I was wondering about this bottom right part. I wasn't too sure if I should try lining it up with the letters as well.
You know what? That looks better. This when it's down farther, so lining up with the bottom of the E. Yep.
Gotta make it a little bit larger, but not.
Sure, it's fine. Yep. Oh yeah. Okay. Go all the way back so you can see the whole poster. Just zoom out so we can see the whole poster. There we go.
I'm not too familiar with InDesign, so I don't know how to remove the text box, the bounding. Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, in this view, you mean?
Yeah, in this view. I could always just import it to or convert it to PDF, and then I could see it without those. But
correct. And that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fine to show the boxes right now.
Yeah. Is there any other recommendations?
I am looking. I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. The only thing that you might play around with is, and this is one of those things that get tricky. So you've already I know you did exactly what I said when we moved the 400 up, so it missed the A.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and you have the A X on a different bounding box, a different text box than the M, right?
I think that's all one. I don't know why
the space between the M and the A and the A and the X
It's strange white.
is strange. It's got an extra space there. Weird.
Yeah.
So I would just play around and make sure that's equal. The space between, at least visually equal. Yes, just do that. See what happens. There's that. See, for some reason, the space between the M and the A is bigger from the A and the X, which
And it might just be the text or the font.
could be.
And I could adjust it so that only the M and A have a smaller kerning, and
Right.
keep the A and X.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes you have to actually, in this case, and it's a pain, you might have to separate and put M in its own box and then the X in its own box so you can move the actual text boxes to kern them that way. So that's a workaround. Okay. I think it looks pretty good.
Thank you. I really appreciate the help.
No, glad to do it.
Yeah.
See, now there it doesn't look, it is a little slightly different. So you might have to just separate because, that's for some reason, the kerning between the A and the M. Yeah, try to.
I just want to go ahead and get rid of this.
Yeah, give it a shot there. Yeah.
So it's almost like I want to keep this that background for the creativity part, where the but then I
There we go. Okay.
something more like that.
Something more like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, little teeny details.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, thank you. And then with the 400 Plex experts, should I just
Oh, interesting. Now I sort of because you
move
got
that?
move it up there and see what you think there.
Um,
I don't know. I sort of because I like it back now. It can overlap the A. Now I changed my mind. Just have it back down, and it can overlap because now that it's actually farther in the A, it's not bugging me. It was just because it hit right on the corner.
On that corner.
I'd leave it right there. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good work.
Sweet. Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you on Wednesday. That's not Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.